How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the What's Up Eddie channel, Divine Therapy Sessions, and of course, I'm the one and only Eddie. So glad to have you guys back, and these are my Divine Therapy Sessions. How's it going, guys? So glad to have you guys back. So I wanted to talk about it's my faith, right? And all of us have different faiths, and the reason why I bring this up is because it's like windy in here. Got my hair blown in my face. Okay, so when I had a spiritual awakening, I started to believe in multiple faiths, right? I would say that I was Christian. That's how I was brought up. So I was conditioned to believe in that faith, right? That's why I say that there's no right or wrong because look, if you believe that your faith is the right one, you've already lost the battle, right? You lost the battle with yourself and you lost the battle with others, because we're all interconnected. So if we all are interconnected and we're the same, that means that we come from the same source, right? The same source of energy. And if that same source of energy is God, then there really is no difference if you really look at it. But when I opened my mind up to these concepts, I realized that I had my whole life, but just didn't say anything because I didn't want to catch slack or trouble from people. I read about other religions, other faiths, and for me, I just kept it hush, But later on, when I had the awakening, for me it was. To me, I guess I had sculpted my own of what I thought it looked like, and then when I had the spiritual principles and spiritual concepts of like the earth and the world, the way it works, everything's working in tandem with each other. So I was like, so I want to talk about my concoction, right? Well, what I believe. Let me put up the window for you guys. Actually, I think it might be all right. The sound might be okay. Okay, so I have like a Buddhist / Christian / Jewish and a little bit of Hinduism mixed in my faith. Now I do believe that God, which is Yahweh. I believe in the Judeo God, right? We call it Judeo, but they got it from somewhere as well too, right? So I did grow up with the Christian beliefs, so I do believe that Jesus Christ his blood paid for my sins, right? And so when I had the awakening, I struggle with this because I started resonating very highly with the old gods, I would say, and the old gods being Brahma, Vishnu, and Lord Shiva. When I had the spiritual awakening, I believe that I was going through the metamorphosis of like the caterpillar to the butterfly, right? And I do believe that like that transformation, like Lord Shiva is the destroyer, right? And when we go into cycles of like rhythms, there's the beginning and ends of things, right? And whenever there's death and destruction, rebirth begins. And I really liked the what Lord Shiva what he represented, in the Hindu culture, right? Or Indian. But I also, I read up on Brahma and Vishnu too as well, right? And I started to notice some similarities within the religions, right? And so that's what for me was like the mind expansion. I realized that it was following a triad, right? It was following a trifecta. And if you really got like logical and like you couldn't believe in like faiths, which to me is difficult because there's too much going on in the world to not. I just put out a video. It's called "There's a 450 trillion chance that you were born," and check that video out. It's pretty good. I just put it out, and it just goes piggybacks off what I'm saying right now. It's like there's no way. There's no way. We're too intricate of human beings. Our processes, the mind, the body, and the spirit, it's so intricate. There's no way that whether or not it's artificial intelligence or whether we can't see the aliens, maybe there's like a foreign distant. We have brothers and sisters that we don't know about, right? Like in a different platform. Whoa, my camera just turned off or fell down off my wheel. We don't know, do we? and it's all speculation at this point. You hear a lot of talk about it, but I feel like, let me fix my camera real quick. I feel like we don't know if there is alien life, and from the books of faith, they don't really explain God, and God quite might be an alien, right? We don't know, and we might be the aliens. We don't know because we haven't met anyone else outside of Earth, per se, right? We don't know that, but speculation tells us that like the ancient Egypts have seen some things. They got, you know, there's that culture, right? But the reason why I bring all this up is that I had this change of heart, right? And I just want to break the illusions of religion. I want to break the illusions of any illusions of preconditioning in any form or fashion. And I'm not saying go against the church, kill them, blah, 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 right? Like none of that garbage. This comes from a place as if you're in a religion and that's what you do, good for you. That's a point of your spirituality of where you're at. That's good. And there's nothing wrong with it. It keeps it's a beginning. I feel like it's a good start to like nourish your soul, right? And you don't see, you know, yeah, I feel like there's bad apples and everything, right? And there's the good apples, and that's with anything, right? There's always the good and the bad, if that's the way you want to look at it. But I don't feel like the church has this like nefarious idea, and if they do, we don't know about it, right? But I say this, you guys, to break the illusions of that you can't believe in different like I like to say this, man. I have a big tool belt, right? And I'm taking from each thing that I come across, whether that be a person, place, thing, faith, ideal, principle, value, inner perspective, outer perspective, any of the science, mathematics, any of it. I take what I like out of everything and I've made it my own, right? I've made it what I believe and what resonates with me. It's what empowers me, because that is the true essence. I feel like it's what empowers you, what gets you to a place of inner growth and inner fortitude and having a moral compass. And then how do you disperse that back out to others? Because that's the real name of the game, I feel like. Because there's people on planet Earth who are suffering, who are in bondage. There's no reason why us in America, you know, I don't like getting political, but like this is what I say. How is it that there's cures for our diseases, but we have it here, and there's like these third world countries who are suffering from a disease that we've conquered? That sounds like greed. That sounds like a bad distribution of power. There's just like so many different things, right? I'm not a political figure. I don't know. But what I'm saying is this, is like if anyone on planet Earth is starving right here, right now, that's an issue. That should be not a country issue. That should be a state issue. That's a humanity issue. There's people who are hunger stricken in the States. You hear families who are hunger stricken. I don't care if they're alien. I don't care if they, you know, we talk about illegal aliens. Like we have our own aliens here, right? Like we treat people we alienate people all the time. And I don't like talking about this stuff because it's I feel like it's tension, right? It's fear-based, but it is a reality check too, man. Like there's people suffering, and that stuff is the big stuff right there, right? And I do believe that, like, man, like this is the big thing, you guys. This is why I say, like, bring your medicine to the forefront, you guys. It's the call to humanity, man. Like, where are we going as humanity? If we still have racial tension, if we still have cultures that have been stripped, you know, and two, I say this, you guys, the cultures out there that have made it through oppression and bondage, you are strong. God has made you resilient. You are divine. I'm saying this, you know, I come from a native heritage where our blood is strong. If we have gone through the suffering and pain of hundreds of years of oppression, literally took our lands. The United States that was Native American, you guys. And we got history books that lied to us about it. We got, you guys, that's thievery in the highest order. But that's just a small fraction of the big piece of pie, right? And the reason why I say is like, what is your leadership, is because there's people still in bondage. I have cultures in my blood, which is Mexican, Native American, Jewish. I have some Jewish. I have Asian. I have some African in me. I have, I think that those are the ones that it's called Spaniard. I have Spaniard. So those cultures, I can pick out just one of those cultures right now, right? I'm losing my train of thought. So these cultures, and so yeah, guys, it's like I was talking about, like, our cultures, right? There's like our cultures. You know, like I look at like Hispanics, right? Like it's just rich in their belief system, right? And I believe that like a lot of that culture doesn't know about the concepts that I've learned. And I feel like if I just was to able to teach, you know, just a fraction of what I know, it would literally free. And those are generational curses on bloodlines, right? Like, if they just knew about manifestation, but like if you tell them about manifestation, I'm not talking about the whole culture, right? I'm talking about like, this is just, and then this is like the dangerous part, right? Like, oh, but if I don't teach Mexicans about this culture, as if they don't have like a high IQ or something, right? But that is the enemy right there, you guys. The real enemy isn't us. Those illusions, I want to break them all down. They have to be broken down. Or we will live in oppression for the rest of our lives because we're too afraid to say something. Or we're going to be offensive to our cultures. I'm Mexican. I could say what I want about my own culture, right? And I'm saying it's backwards thinking to believe these concepts that we need to disperse to humanity. Every culture. That what you say out of your mouth becomes reality. What you think is literally like a plant, and you're nourishing yourself. And you are limitless. You are a conduit to God. Each and every one of us. But the further you get away from God's grace, the further away you do that, you become more distorted. And the more distorted and away from God you get, the closer you get to what? The other side. And the other side is darkness. And when you get closer into darkness, we have problems like generational curses, hexes. We got bloodlines that are doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing. You're getting away from the divine order. We are so far away from that. But that's more of like the spiritual sides, right? But like, look at, like, how did I get these concepts? This is God given. I'm telling you, if it was able to work out for me, who was a person that was going for certain death, certainty that I was going to die, have been delivered. If I can be delivered, you can be delivered as well. And I do believe that like this expansion of thinking, and breaking down these illusions, and these illusions are come off of pride, machismo, which in my culture means is like we have to be hard and tough when we're not. We're dying at the surface, or we look good on the surface, but we're dying on the inside. Like for men, this is like a gender specific thing now, right? It's like, and I talk about this stuff too, as well as like we have to be a certain way because we're men, right? Wrong. That is the wrong answer. Wrong. You know what freed me, you guys? I adopted my divine feminine, because we both have masculine and feminine in us. Because I've done that causes what? The way to do that is you're going to have to drop your pride and ego, right? You're going to have to stop thinking concepts that were taught to us as young men. Same goes for it's vice versa. Flip it for the female, right? You got to adopt the divine or the divine masculine. Now these concepts are a little more intricate, right? But what I'm trying to say is that when you start to break the illusions, oh man, that's when the greatness happens. This is when God really gets to enter your life, and you can do amazing things, you guys. Our humanity can grow when we break the illusion, the veil. That's all I got, you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I love you. Give me a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe. I love you guys so much. If you want to hear from me more and get notified, ring the notification bell. And I will catch you guys in the next one. All right, guys.